My name is Sienna Hart, single mother, photographer, and the woman who once tried to hide her children from their own father. 8 years ago, I ran away from a love that felt too dangerous to hold on to, until the truth caught up with me. And suddenly, I wasn't the one behind the lens capturing others' stories. I was the center of the story I'd sworn to keep buried forever. Before I share my journey, a story of heartbreak, choices, and rebirth, let me know where you're watching from in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you've ever pushed beyond your limits for family. Trust me, you're going to want to hear what happens next. The chandeliers at the Los Angeles Museum of Art cast shadows that danced across marble floors like ghosts of memories I'd tried to bury. I adjusted my camera lens, focusing on another wealthy patron in their designer gown, another frozen smile, another charitable donation that would make tomorrow's society pages. 8 years of photographing these events, and I'd learned to become invisible. Just another fixture among the catering staff and security guards. "Mommy, our teacher says we're next." Ellie's voice cut through the orchestral music, her small hand tugging at my black dress. I knelt down, smoothing her silver costume. "Remember what we practiced? Big smiles, watch your spacing with Liam." I know. She rolled her eyes in that way that made her look older than 7. "You worry too much." Liam appeared beside her, fidgeting with his matching outfit. "Mom, what if I forget the words?" "You won't." I kissed his forehead. "And if you do, just keep moving. Nobody will notice." The twins weren't supposed to be here. Their dance academy had been invited last minute when another act canceled. Claire had called it fate. I called it bad timing. The Crossbridge Foundation's annual gala was the last place I wanted my children, but refusing would have raised questions I couldn't answer. I watched them join their classmates near the stage, my chest tight. Through my viewfinder, I captured the room's transformation as the lights dimmed for the performance. Then I saw him. Nathaniel Cross stood near the stage, champagne flute forgotten in his hand. The CEO of Crossbridge Group looked exactly as the business magazines portrayed him. Sharp jawline, perfectly tailored tuxedo, an aura of power that made people step aside without being asked. But I knew the way his eyes crinkled when he genuinely smiled, the small scar above his left eyebrow from a childhood accident he'd told me about during those 3 weeks that changed everything. The music started. 20 small dancers took the stage, my babies among them. I forced myself to keep shooting, to maintain professional distance. But my hands trembled as I watched Nathaniel's expression change. His eyes locked onto Ellie first, her dark hair, the determined set of her jaw so like his own. Then Liam, with those same green eyes that could shift from playful to serious in a heartbeat. The champagne glass slipped from his fingers. Crystal shattered against marble. The sound barely registered over the music, but I saw heads turn, saw his assistant rush forward with napkins. Nathaniel didn't move. He stood frozen, staring at my children as if seeing ghosts. My camera lowered. Our eyes met across the room. 8 years collapsed into nothing. I was 24 again, fumbling with equipment in his New York office, trying to act professional while my heart raced every time he walked past. Now I was 32, a mother, a survivor of choices that had nearly broken me. But under his gaze, I felt exposed, as if he could see through the carefully constructed walls I'd built. The performance ended. Parents applauded. The children bowed. Ellie searched the crowd until she found me, her smile radiant with accomplishment. Liam followed her gaze, waving shyly. I forced myself to smile back, to clap, to play the proud mother while my world tilted off its axis. Nathaniel moved toward the stage. Panic seized me. I pushed through the crowd, reaching my children as they descended the steps. "You were perfect," I said, gathering them close. "Both of you. Let's get your things." "But Mom, there's cake," Ellie protested. "We have ice cream at home." I herded them toward the side exit, my photographer's badge allowing us access to the service corridors. My heels clicked against concrete, echoing like a countdown. "Ms. Hart?" His voice stopped me cold, deeper than I remembered, carrying an authority that hadn't existed when we'd known each other. I turned slowly, pushing the twins behind me instinctively. He stood at the corridor entrance, backlit by the gala's golden glow. Up close, I could see the changes. Lines around his eyes, a harder set to his mouth. Success had sharpened him into something more dangerous than the driven young executive I'd fallen for. Mr. Cross, I kept my voice level. I'm working. If you need photographs from tonight, you can contact the agency. His eyes moved past me to the children. Ellie, never shy, stepped around my protective stance. Are you the man who dropped his glass? She asked. My teacher says it's okay to make mistakes as long as we clean them up. Something flickered across his face. Pain, wonder, recognition. That's very wise advice. Mom says that too. Liam joined his sister, always following her lead. She says mistakes can teach us things. I watched Nathaniel catalog every detail of their faces, saw the moment mathematical certainty clicked into place. 7 years old. The timing, the features. The truth I'd carried alone for so long, suddenly laid bare in a service corridor that smelled of industrial cleaner and crushed dreams. We need to go, I said, grasping their hands. Sienna. Just my name, but weighted with questions, accusations, a claim I wasn't ready to acknowledge. I didn't answer. I pulled my children away, their protests fading as we reached the parking garage. Only when we were safely in my car, doors locked, did I allow myself to break. My hands shook too badly to start the engine. Mommy? Liam's worried voice from the back seat. Are you okay? Yes, baby. The lie came automatically. Just tired. In the rearview mirror, I saw Ellie watching me with eyes too perceptive for her age. She didn't ask questions. Somehow, that was worse. We drove home in silence, the city lights blurring past like all the possibilities I'd thought I'd left behind. In my pocket, my phone buzzed. I didn't need to check it. I knew what was coming. 8 years of running had just ended in a museum full of witnesses, under chandeliers that had illuminated the moment my past finally caught up with my present. That night, after tucking the twins into bed and triple-checking the locks, I sat in my kitchen with a glass of wine I couldn't drink. The apartment felt smaller, as if Nathaniel's recognition had somehow breached my carefully constructed sanctuary. Claire sat across from me, having rushed over after my panicked text. So he knows? She said, not a question. He knows. I pushed the wine away. God, Claire, you should have seen his face. What are you going to do? I laughed, but it came out broken. What I always do, protect them. From their father? You don't understand. I stood, pacing to the window. You didn't see how it ended. Claire had heard pieces over the years, but never the full story. Maybe it was time. Maybe speaking it aloud would help me figure out what came next. I was nobody, I began. Just another freelancer hired to photograph Crossbridge's annual investor meeting. I wasn't supposed to interact with him beyond basic directions. But there was this moment. I closed my eyes, remembering. He was reviewing his speech, completely focused. Then he looked up and caught me watching him. Instead of the cold dismissal I expected, he smiled, asked if I had any tips for not looking like a corporate robot on camera. That had been the beginning. 3 weeks of working various events for his company. 3 weeks of conversations that started professional and gradually became something else. He'd find reasons to check on the photography progress. I'd linger after events, organizing equipment slower than necessary. He wasn't the Nathaniel Cross you see in magazines then, I told Claire. He was still becoming that person. Ambitious, yes, but also curious. He'd ask about my work, my dreams. He'd remember details from previous conversations. The night everything changed had been after a charity auction. Rain had trapped us in the building's lobby, waiting for drivers. We'd talked for 2 hours, sharing stories, laughing at things that weren't particularly funny. When his car finally arrived, he'd hesitated. Have dinner with me, he'd said. Not as CEO and photographer, just as Nathaniel and Sienna. One dinner became 2, became a week of stolen moments between his endless meetings. I knew it was temporary. Men like him didn't end up with women like me. But I let myself pretend, let myself fall. The last night, I said, voice catching. He told me he was leaving for Hong Kong, a major acquisition that would take months. He said, I paused, the memory still sharp. He said when he got back, things would be different. He'd have more time. We could explore what this was. Claire reached across the table, squeezing my hand. He left on a Tuesday. By Friday, his calls had stopped. His personal number went straight to voicemail. I thought maybe he was busy, overwhelmed with the deal. I laughed bitterly. I found out I was pregnant 2 weeks later. The humiliation of trying to reach him still burned. His assistant treating me like another gold digger. The security at his building suddenly not recognizing me. The final email, clearly written by someone else, thanking me for my professional services and wishing me well in my future endeavors. I could have fought, I admitted. Demanded paternity tests, gone to the media. But I looked at that email, at how easily I'd been erased, and I realized something. If he could dismiss me that completely, what would he do to children he didn't want? So I'd run. Left New York, started over in Los Angeles. Built a life where Sienna Hart had no connection to Nathaniel Cross. Raised my babies alone. Created a story about their father that wouldn't hurt them. A man who had to leave before they were born, who would have loved them if he could have stayed. But tonight, Claire said slowly, his reaction doesn't sound like a man who knew and didn't care. It doesn't matter. I returned to the table. 8 years, Claire. 8 years of school events and sick nights and first words and scraped knees. He wasn't there. He doesn't get to waltz in now because biology gives him a claim. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I declined the call. It rang again immediately. You can't avoid him forever, Claire said gently. Watch me. But even as I said it, I knew she was right. The Nathaniel Cross I'd known had been persistent. The one he'd become, who commanded boardrooms and moved markets, wouldn't simply accept my silence. The phone rang a third time. This time I answered. Don't hang up. His voice, controlled but with an edge. We need to talk. No, we don't. Sienna. A pause. They're mine. Not a question. I closed my eyes. Biology doesn't make you a father. You're right. His admission surprised me. But you took away my chance to try. You took away that chance when you disappeared. I never... He stopped, frustration evident. Not over the phone. Tomorrow. Please. One conversation. I work tomorrow. After. Anywhere public. You choose. When I didn't respond, his voice softened. I'm not going to hurt them, Sienna. Or you. I need to understand. I thought of Ellie's fearlessness, Liam's gentle heart. They deserved better than a mother who made decisions from fear. Cafe Luna, 4 o'clock, you get 30 minutes. Thank you. I hung up before I could change my mind. Claire watched me with sympathy and concern. It's going to be okay, she said. I wished I could believe her. But I'd learned long ago that when it came to Nathaniel Cross, nothing was ever simple. And now my children were caught in the complexity I'd tried so hard to avoid. Cafe Luna occupied a corner of Brentwood that straddled the line between accessible and exclusive. I chose it for the witnesses. Enough people that he couldn't make a scene, not so many that we'd be overheard. I arrived 15 minutes early, securing a corner table with clear sightlines to both exits. He walked in exactly at 4, and I hated how my heart still recognized him before my eyes did. He'd changed from the formal suits to dark jeans and a simple button-down, but he still moved like someone who expected the world to rearrange itself around him. Thank you for coming, he said, sitting across from me. 28 minutes now, a ghost of a smile. Straight to business. You haven't changed. Everything's changed. I kept my hands flat on the table, refusing to fidget. What do you want? The truth. Start with their names. Eleanor and Liam, Ellie and Liam Hart, 7 years old, born June 15th. He absorbed this, calculating. 9 months after Hong Kong. 8.5. They were early. Complications? The question surprised me with its genuine concern. Minor. They were fighters from the start. Tell me about them. I'd prepared for accusations, maybe lawyers. Not this quiet desperation to know his children. No, I said. First, you tell me why. Why you disappeared. Why your people treated me like trash when I tried to reach you. His jaw tightened. What do you mean, tried to reach me? Don't! Anger flared. Don't pretend you didn't get my messages. Your assistant made it very clear I was no longer welcome to contact you. Your security at Sienna? He leaned forward. I never got any messages. When I came back from Hong Kong, you were gone. Your agency said you'd moved, left no forwarding information. Because I'd already tried. I stopped, pieces clicking. Your assistant, tall woman, brown hair, very protective. Margaret, she'd been with my father before me. Understanding dawned on his face, followed by fury I'd never seen before. She was let go 6 years ago, overstepped boundaries, made decisions without authorization. Like deciding who was worthy of your time? Apparently. His hands clenched. God, Sienna, if I'd known, would it have mattered? The question escaped before I could stop it. Would you have chosen them? Or would the great Nathaniel Cross have seen them as an inconvenience? How can you ask that? Because I knew you for 3 weeks. The media's known you for 8 years. Which version is real? He was quiet for a moment, then pulled out his phone. I tensed, but he simply showed me the screen. A photo from tonight. Ellie and Liam on stage, caught mid-dance. I took this during the performance, he said quietly. Before I knew, I was drawn to them. Couldn't explain why. He met my eyes. Which version of me is real? The one who stood in that museum and felt his entire world shift because 2 children he'd never met suddenly made everything else irrelevant. Pretty words. Then let me show you. He put the phone away. I want to know them, not partial custody battles or formal arrangements. I want to know their favorite foods, what makes them laugh, what they dream about. I want the chance you took from me, that you took from yourself. That was stolen from both of us. The anger was back, but not directed at me. I'll deal with Margaret, but right now I'm asking for a chance. And if I say no, he studied me. Then I'll respect that. But I'll also wonder what you're afraid of. The man you think I've become? Or the possibility that I'm still the one you knew? Damn him. Even after 8 years, he could read me too well. They don't know about you, I said finally. I told them their father had to leave before they were born, that he would have loved them. I would have. Simple, certain, devastating. You don't get to say that. You don't get to rewrite history. No, but I can write the future. He leaned back. Start small. Let me meet them properly. Public places. You present every moment. Let them decide if they want to know me. And when they ask why you weren't there before, I'll tell them the truth. That I didn't know about them, but now that I do, nothing could keep me away. Your company has a board of directors and thousands of employees they'll manage. You can't just rearrange your life around children you met once. Watch me. The certainty in his voice terrified me. This wasn't the young executive making promises he couldn't keep. This was a man who'd learned to move mountains, now focused on moving me. I need time, I said, to think, to figure out how to explain this to them. How long? A week. 3 days. 5? Done. He stood, then hesitated. Sienna, that photo on your agency website, is that them? I knew the one, Ellie and Liam at the beach last summer, laughing as waves chased them. I'd posted it in a weak moment, needing to share their joy with a world that didn't know they existed. Yes, they're beautiful, his voice caught. They look happy. They are happy. Then I won't be the one to change that. He met my eyes. 5 days. But know this, they're my children too. And I've already lost 7 years. I won't lose any more. He left without looking back. I sat in the cafe until my coffee went cold, trying to reconcile the man who'd just upended my life with the ghost I'd been running from. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. The Margaret situation has been investigated. What she did was unforgivable. I'm sorry. Then they have my eyes. I deleted the messages, but the words lingered. They did have his eyes, and his stubbornness, and his ability to see through walls I'd thought were impenetrable. 5 days to figure out how to tell my children their father wasn't a beautiful fiction, but a complicated reality. 5 days to decide if I could trust him with the 2 hearts that mattered more than my own. 5 days felt like both forever and not nearly enough time. The decision came faster than expected when Ellie forced my hand 3 days later. Mom, why don't we have any pictures of our dad? She stood in my bedroom doorway, Saturday morning light casting shadows across her serious face. Liam hovered behind her, clearly drafted as backup for this conversation. What brought this on, baby? Jasmine's parents are divorced, but she has pictures. So does Alex. Even Tommy has pictures, and his dad died. She crossed her arms, mini Nathaniel in her stance. But we don't have any. I set down my coffee, patting the bed beside me. They climbed up, one on each side. I've told you before, your dad had to leave. Before we were born, we know. Ellie's eye roll was perfected. But why no pictures? Because I'd deleted them all in a fit of heartbreak, keeping only memories I couldn't erase. Sometimes, I said carefully. People leave in ways that make pictures hurt too much. Did he hurt you? Liam's voice was small, protective. No, sweetheart, it was complicated. Everything's complicated with grown-ups, Ellie muttered. True enough. I made a decision that probably violated some parenting handbook somewhere. What if I told you there was someone who wanted to meet you? Someone who knew your dad? Both children perked up. The lie felt necessary, a stepping stone to truth. Really? Liam breathed. Really, but it might be confusing. And you don't have to meet him if you don't want to. We want to! Ellie bounced. When? When, today? Her enthusiasm broke my heart. They'd never asked much about their father before, accepting my vague explanations. But lately, questions had been sprouting like weeds through concrete. Tomorrow, at the park, just for a little while. I texted Nathaniel that night, Griffith Park, Carousel area, 2 p.m., 1 hour. His response was immediate, thank you. Sunday arrived too quickly. I dressed the twins in their favorite outfits, Ellie in purple, Liam in dinosaurs, and tried not to throw up from nerves. The drive felt both endless and too short. He was already there, sitting on a bench near the carousel. He'd dressed down again, looking almost normal, except for the way he held himself. That unconscious authority that marked him as someone important. Is that him? Ellie whispered, suddenly shy. Yes. He looked sad, Liam observed. Before I could respond, Nathaniel saw us. He stood slowly as if afraid sudden movements might spook us. Which, fair. Hi, he said when we were close enough. His eyes never left the twins' faces. Hi, Ellie responded, recovering first. I'm Ellie. This is Liam. He's shy sometimes, but he's really good at math. I like math too, Nathaniel said. It's nice to meet you both properly. We met before, Liam said. At the museum. You dropped your glass. I did. I was surprised. Mom says surprises can be good or bad, Ellie informed him. Which kind was it? I watched Nathaniel navigate this first parental test. The very best kind, like finding out Christmas came early. Christmas is in December, Liam corrected seriously. You're right, that was a metaphor. Do you know what those are? And somehow, we were sitting on the bench, Nathaniel explaining literary devices to 2 7-year-olds who hung on every word. Not because of what he was saying, but how he said it, giving them his complete attention, treating their questions seriously. You talk like Mom does, Ellie announced after a while. Like we're real people. You are real people. Some of the most interesting I've met. We're just kids, Liam said. Just kids who dance, do math, and ask smart questions. That's pretty impressive. I watched my children bloom under his attention, showing off. Ellie demonstrating a cartwheel, Liam reciting multiplication tables. Nathaniel responded to everything with genuine delight that couldn't be faked. Want to ride the carousel? He asked after 40 minutes. Yes, they chorused, then looked at me. Okay, I agreed, needing a moment to breathe. I watched them walk ahead, Nathaniel carefully maintaining distance until Ellie grabbed his hand, pulling him faster. Liam took his other hand and something inside me cracked. The carousel operator recognized Nathaniel, of course he did, and suddenly my children were getting a private ride, choosing any horse they wanted. Their laughter carried across the park as Nathaniel stood between their horses, steadying them unnecessarily. My phone rang. Claire, how's it going? He's good with them, I admitted. Natural, like he's been doing this forever. Maybe he has been, in his head. Don't take his side. I'm on the kid's side, always have been. She was right. This wasn't about Nathaniel and me anymore. It was about 2 children who deserved truth, even if it came in complicated packages. The ride ended. The twins ran back, breathless with joy. Mom, Mr. Nathaniel says the carousel is over 100 years old. Mr. Nathaniel? I raised an eyebrow at him. He shrugged. They asked what to call me. Can we see him again? Liam asked, taking my hand. We'll see. That means yes, Ellie told Nathaniel confidently. When Mom says we'll see about vegetables, it means no. But for fun things, it means yes. Good to know, he said solemnly. We walked back toward the parking lot. The twins ran ahead to the playground for just 5 more minutes, leaving us alone. Thank you, Nathaniel said quietly. Don't thank me yet. This was easy. Wait until one of them has a meltdown or gets sick or... I want to be there for those 2. He stopped walking. I know I have to earn this. Earn their trust, earn yours. But Sienna, seeing them, talking to them, I can't lose this again. You never had it to lose. Which is why I won't waste a second chance. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Don't answer that, Nathaniel said sharply. Why? Just trust me, please. But I'd already swiped to answer. Hello? Ms. Hart, this is Rebecca Martinez from the LA Times. I'm calling about your relationship with Nathaniel Cross and the children. I hung up, blood draining from my face. Yay, how does she know? Nathaniel was already on his phone, barking orders to someone. We need to leave, now. Ellie, Liam, time to go. They protested, but came. As we reached our cars, I spotted him, photographer with a telephoto lens, partially hidden behind a tree. Get in, Nathaniel ordered. Leave your car. I'll have it collected. I don't take orders from you. Sienna, please. They've been watching, probably since the museum. My security just confirmed 3 photographers in the area. The twins sensed tension, quieting. I made a split-second decision, ushering them into Nathaniel's SUV. The driver pulled away smoothly, while another car blocked the photographer's view. Where are we going? Ellie asked. Somewhere safe, Nathaniel said. I promise. I wanted to argue, to take control. But looking at my children's faces, seeing confusion and the first hints of fear, I knew the careful life I'd built had just shattered. The spotlight had found us, and there was nowhere left to hide. Nathaniel's somewhere safe turned out to be a beach house in Malibu, all glass walls and private gates. The twins' fear evaporated when they saw the ocean, demanding to explore immediately. After we talk, I said firmly, settling them in the living room with juice boxes and a cartoon on the massive TV. Nathaniel led me to the kitchen, far enough for privacy, but with sightlines to the children. Explain, I demanded. Julian Roth. He poured water with hands that weren't quite steady. My business rival. He's been looking for leverage for months. Someone must have connected you to me after the gala. And you didn't think to warn me? I didn't know he'd found out. My security team just confirmed it this morning. He ran a hand through his hair, messing its perfect arrangement. There's more. The photographer at the park wasn't random. Julian's been building a story. CEO with secret family, children hidden away. He plans to question my ethics, destabilize the merger I'm working on. So this is about business. No. The word came out sharp. This is about a man who wants to hurt me using the 2 people I just discovered matter more than any deal. 3 people, I corrected without thinking. His eyes softened. 3 people. Mom? Liam appeared in the doorway. Can we go to the beach now? I looked at Nathaniel, who nodded. There's a private path. No one can access it without going through security. 20 minutes later, I watched my children chase waves while Nathaniel stood guard, having shed his shoes and rolled up his jeans. His phone rang constantly. He ignored it. You're going to lose your empire, I said. Companies can be rebuilt. You don't mean that. He turned to me. Yesterday, Crossbridge was everything. Today, I watched Ellie do a cartwheel and Liam recite times tables. Tell me which matters more. It's not that simple. You have responsibilities, which I'm handling. The board knows I'm unreachable for personal matters this weekend my COO is covering. And tomorrow? Tomorrow I figure out how to be both CEO and father. He paused. If you'll let me. Ellie ran up, grabbing his hand. Come see what we found! She dragged him to a tide pool where Liam waited, pointing at a hermit crab. I followed, watching Nathaniel crouch in expensive jeans, explaining ocean ecosystems with the same intensity he probably used for board presentations. My phone buzzed. 17 missed calls, dozens of texts. The story was breaking. Mommy, you look sad, Liam observed, taking my hand. Just thinking, baby. Mr. Nathaniel says thinking too hard makes your brain tired. He looked up at me seriously. He says sometimes you have to feel instead. Out of the mouths of babes, dinner was pizza on the deck, the twins telling stories while Nathaniel listened like they were sharing state secrets. I caught him memorizing moments. Ellie's hand gestures, Liam's quiet laugh, the way they looked at each other when sharing silent twin communication. Do you have any kids? Ellie asked suddenly. I froze. Nathaniel met my eyes over her head. I didn't know I did, he said carefully. But I'm hoping to learn. That's a weird answer, Ellie decided. It's a weird situation, I said. Sometimes life is complicated. Like how Mom cries sometimes when she thinks we're asleep? Liam asked. My heart clenched. Nathaniel's jaw tightened. Everyone cries sometimes, he said. Even Sis. What's a CEO? Ellie asked. Someone who makes decisions for a company. Like a boss? Exactly. Our mom's a boss too, Liam said proudly. She decides everything for us. As she should, Nathaniel agreed. She's very good at it. Later, after the twins had fallen asleep in the guest room, we sat on the deck with wine I couldn't taste. They're perfect, he said quietly. They're children. They're exhausting and wonderful, and they'll break your heart 100 ways. Good. My heart could use some breaking. He stared at the ocean. I've spent 8 years building walls, Sienna, making myself untouchable. Then 2 7-year-olds demolished everything in an afternoon. What do you want from this? Really? Everything. Simple, honest, terrifying. I want bedtime stories and school plays. I want to teach them to ride bikes and help with homework. I want to be there when they're sick, when they're scared, when they need someone. He turned to me. I want to be their father. And where do I fit in this fantasy? Wherever you want to. He set down his wine. I know I have no right to ask for more than you're willing to give. But Sienna, seeing you with them, seeing the life you built, you're extraordinary. I'm a single mother who takes pictures for a living. You're the woman who raised 2 incredible humans alone, who protected them, provided for them, loved them enough for 2 parents. His voice dropped. You're also the only woman who ever made me want more than the next deal. That was 8 years ago. Was it? He reached out, not quite touching my hand. Tell me you don't feel it. Tell me watching me with our children doesn't change something. I couldn't? Because it did. Every laugh, every moment of connection between him and the twins shifted something fundamental. This is too fast, I said. I know, and complicated. I know, and Julian. Will be handled, I promise. His phone lit up again. This time he looked. His expression darkened. He's accelerating the timeline. The story drops Monday. What does that mean? It means I need to control the narrative. Come out ahead of it. He looked at me. With your permission, I'd like to announce the truth. That I recently discovered I have 2 children, that I'm committed to being part of their lives, that their privacy and well-being are my top priority. And if I say no, then I find another way. But this protects them best, makes them old news faster. I thought of vultures with cameras, of my babies' faces splashed across tabloids, of questions they weren't ready to answer. Okay, I whispered. Thank you. He stood. I should go. Early morning tomorrow, damage control meetings. On a Monday? CEOs don't get weekends when crisis hits. He smiled wryly. But I meant what I said. They come first now. The company will adapt or find a new leader. I walked him to the door, checked on the sleeping twins once more. When will we see you again? I asked, surprising myself. Whenever you allow it. I'll work around your schedule, their needs. He paused at the threshold. Sienna, today was the best day I've had in 8 years. Then he was gone, leaving me with 2 sleeping children and a future rewriting itself faster than I could process. Monday morning arrived like a storm. I woke to 57 missed calls and Claire pounding on my door at 6 a.m. It's worse than we thought, she said, shoving her tablet at me. The headline screamed, Crossbridge CEO's Secret Family, a tale of abandonment and millions. But it was the photos that stopped my heart. Ellie and Liam at school, at the park, coming out of our apartment. Weeks of surveillance condensed into a narrative of wealthy father ignoring his obligations. How long have they been watching us? Does it matter? Sienna, there are reporters outside. The school called. They're surrounded too. My babies. My phone rang. Nathaniel. I've sent security to the school, he said without preamble. They'll bring the twins to you through the back entrance. Pack bags for a few days. We're not running. The apartment complex is surrounded. Your neighbor already sold them stories about the struggling single mother. This isn't running, it's protecting them until I fix this. How? Press conference at noon. Julian overplayed his hand. The surveillance photos of the children cross legal lines. My lawyers are filing injunctions, but right now we need them safe. Pride ward with practicality. Where? The beach house. Or my place in the city. Wherever you feel comfortable. Mom? Ellie stood in the doorway, rubbing sleepy eyes. Why is Aunt Claire here? Early morning visit, baby. How about an adventure? Few days off school? Her eyes lit up. Really? Really? Go wake your brother. An hour later, we were in an SUV with tinted windows, slipping out through the building's loading dock. The twins thought it was a game. Special agents on a secret mission. I let them believe it. Nathaniel met us at the beach house, looking like he hadn't slept. He'd changed into a perfect suit, but I could see the strain underneath. Uncle Nathan, Ellie had decided on the title herself. Are you on our adventure too? Just making sure you get there safely. He caught my eye. Can we talk? I left the twins with Claire and followed him outside. I'm holding the conference at Crossbridge headquarters, he said. I'll announce they're my children, that I recently learned of their existence, that I'm thrilled to be part of their lives. The legal team will handle Julian's stalking charges. What about the abandonment angle? His jaw tightened. I'll address it. The truth? That miscommunication and interference prevented me from knowing. That their mother did an incredible job raising them alone. That my only regret is the time I've missed. And if they twist it? They will, but the truth is better than silence. He paused. I'd like you to be there. At the press conference? Beside me, united front. Show them we're working together for the children's sake. That's not who I am, Nathaniel. I don't do spotlights. I know, but hiding feeds their narrative. Standing together, showing them we're both committed to Ellie and Liam, that changes the story. He was right. I hated that he was right. Fine, but I'm not answering questions. You won't have to. Just be there. Be yourself. His phone buzzed. I have to go. Security will stay with you. Anything you need, ask. Nathaniel? I called as he turned away. Why didn't you marry? 8 years and the magazines never mentioned anyone serious. He stopped. Because I was comparing everyone to 3 weeks that apparently meant more to me than they did to you. That's not I know that now. He smiled sadly. Timing, right? Story of us. 3 hours later, I stood in a boardroom being transformed by stylists he'd sent. Nothing flashy, just enough polish to look like I belonged beside him rather than in the shadows with my camera. You look pretty, Mommy, Liam said through video call, like a princess. Are you being good for Aunt Claire? We're building sandcastles. Uncle Nathan said he'd teach us to boogie board when he gets back. Uncle Nathan. The title that had started as child's logic was cementing into reality. The press conference was a blur of lights and shouted questions. I stood slightly behind Nathaniel as he commanded the room with practiced ease. I recently learned I'm the father of 2 incredible 7-year-olds, he said. While I regret the circumstances that kept me from knowing them sooner, I'm grateful to their mother for raising them with such love and dedication. My priority now is building a relationship with them while respecting their privacy and normal childhood. What about the allegations of abandonment? A reporter called out. False. I cannot abandon children I didn't know existed. The truth is simpler and sadder. A failure of communication that cost me 7 years of their lives. I intend to make the most of every day forward. Ms. Hart, why didn't you try harder to inform Mr. Cross? I stepped forward without thinking. I tried. I was told he wasn't interested. I chose to protect my children from rejection rather than force the issue. Any single parent would understand that choice. Nathaniel's hand found mine, squeezing gently. Cameras went wild. Are you together? Someone shouted. We're parents together, Nathaniel said firmly. Everything else is secondary to that. More questions, more deflection. Then, Mr. Cross, Julian Roth claims you're using these children to humanize your image for the Technica merger. Nathaniel's entire demeanor shifted. Julian Roth hired photographers to stalk 7-year-old children. He's facing criminal charges for harassment and invasion of privacy. As for the merger, he paused, letting silence build. Technica can wait. My children cannot. The room erupted. A CEO putting family before a billion-dollar deal was headline gold. Afterward, in his office, I collapsed on the couch. You did perfectly, he said, loosening his tie. I feel like I need a shower. It's over. The story's out. Stray's out our way. Julian's dealing with legal problems. The twins are safe. Are they? This attention won't just disappear? No, but it'll die down. New scandals will emerge. Will be old news. I tested the word. You keep saying we. Would you prefer I didn't? I didn't know. Everything was moving too fast, rewriting rules I'd lived by for 8 years. I should get back to them, I said. I'll drive you. You have work, eh? I have children building sandcastles. He grabbed his jacket. Priorities, remember? In the elevator, he said quietly. Thank you, for today, for letting me try. They're your children, too. The admission cost me something. But Nathaniel, if you hurt them, if you disappear again, I won't. He met my eyes. I've lost too much already. I won't lose any more. And somehow, despite everything, I was starting to believe him. The weeks following the press conference fell into an unexpected rhythm. Nathaniel appeared for dinner 3 nights a week, always bringing dessert and staying for bedtime stories. Weekends meant beach trips or museum visits, always with security discreetly present. "You're spoiling them," I said one evening, watching him help Ellie with a school project about ocean conservation. "I'm making up for lost time," he replied, carefully gluing a paper whale while she directed. "No, here!" Ellie adjusted his placement. "Whales need more room to swim." "Of course, my mistake." Liam looked up from his book. "Mom says mistakes help us learn." "Your mom's very wise." Nathaniel caught my eye. "I've learned a lot from my mistakes." Later, after the twins were asleep, we sat on my tiny balcony with tea. "The merger's falling apart," he said quietly. "Because of us?" "Because I'm not giving it 16-hour days anymore. The board's not happy." "I'm sorry, Don't be. Best thing that could have happened." He stared at his mug. "Do you know what I did last Tuesday at 3 p.m.? Board meeting? Watched Liam's magic show at school. He made a quarter disappear. Badly. It was perfect." I smiled despite myself. "He practiced that trick for hours. Worth more than any deal I've ever closed." He set down his tea. "I've been thinking about what you asked, why I never married." "You don't have to." "I want to." He leaned back. "After you left, after I couldn't find you, I threw myself into work. Built the company into something my father never imagined. Dated appropriate women who understood that work came first. But none of them what? Laughed at my terrible jokes, called me out when I was being an ass, made me want to be better just by existing." He looked at me. "None of them were you." "Nathaniel, I'm not asking for anything. I know trust takes time. I just wanted you to know." My phone rang, breaking the moment. "Claire, turn on Channel 7, she said. The news showed Julian Roth being arrested for corporate espionage and harassment. But it was the second story that made my blood run cold. Photos of Nathaniel entering my apartment, speculation about our rekindled romance. "They're watching again," I breathed. "Pack bags," Nathaniel said immediately. "You're not safe here. This is our home, which is surrounded by photographers who've already proven they'll cross any line." He was already calling his security team. "Please, Sienna, for them." An hour later, we were at his penthouse, a space I'd never imagined entering. 3 stories of glass and marble overlooking the city, so different from our cramped apartment. "Whoa," Ellie breathed, spinning in the entryway. "Do you live here?" "Sometimes," Nathaniel said, "but it's missing something." "What?" Liam asked. "You two, it's too quiet." Within minutes, they were exploring, their voices echoing off high ceilings. I stood frozen, overwhelmed by the casual wealth surrounding us. "The guest wing is fully furnished," Nathaniel said quietly. 3 bedrooms, private bathroom, your own space. "We can't just move in." "Temporarily, until things calm down." He paused. "Unless you'd prefer the beach house?" "Mom, there's a pool!" Ellie shouted from somewhere above us. "On the roof!" "Can we see?" Liam added. I looked at Nathaniel. "You have a rooftop pool?" "Among other things." He seemed almost embarrassed. "I can have it drained if you're worried about safety." "They swim like fish. This is a lot." "I know, but they're safe here. Doorman, private elevator, security, no one can get to them." The next few days blurred together. The twins adapted with childhood resilience, treating the penthouse like an adventure. Nathaniel worked from home, his study door open, available for every question or request for attention. I found him there one evening, video conference muted while Liam showed him a drawing. "Sorry," I said. "Liam, Uncle Nathan's working." "It's fine." He unmuted briefly. "Gentlemen, my son needs me. We'll resume in 10 minutes. "My son." The words hung in the air as Liam beamed, explaining his dragon picture. When he ran off to show Ellie, I stayed. "You can't just blow off board meetings." "Watch me." He leaned back. "They're discussing my replacement anyway." "What?" "The board wants a CEO who prioritizes profit over personal life. I want breakfast with my children." He shrugged. "Irreconcilable differences." "You'd give up everything you built?" "I'm not giving up anything. I'm choosing what matters." He stood, moving closer. 8 years ago, I chose wrong. I won't make that mistake again. This isn't just about them anymore, is it?" "No. Simple, honest. It's about their mother, too. The woman who's shown me what I've been missing. Who makes me want things I'd forgotten existed." "Nathaniel!" I know it's too fast. I know you need time. But Sienna, I've spent 8 years regretting losing you. I won't spend another 8 pretending I don't want a second chance. Mommy? Ellie appeared in the doorway. Can we have movie night? The moment shattered, reformed into something softer. Of course, baby. Uncle Nathan, too? I looked at him. CEO of a billion-dollar company, ready to walk away from it all for movie night with children he'd known for weeks. If he wants to. Always, he said, following Ellie out. That night, squished on a couch worth more than my car, watching animated movies with my children curled between us, I felt the last of my walls crumble. This wasn't the life I'd planned, wasn't the family I'd imagined. But maybe that was okay. When the twins fell asleep, Nathaniel carried Liam while I took Ellie. Standing in the hallway between their rooms, we paused. Stay, I whispered. His eyes widened. Sienna, not like that. Just stay. Be here in the morning. Show them this isn't temporary. None of this is temporary. He touched my face gently. Not anymore. I'm scared, I admitted. So am I. He smiled. But Ellie says being brave means doing things even when you're scared. She's smart. Like her mother. I kissed him. Soft, careful. A question more than a statement. He responded like a man coming home. Like 8 years had been erased in a moment. I choose this, I whispered. Choose us. Choose you. Just don't leave again. Never, he promised. We're family now, all of us. And standing there, in a penthouse I never imagined entering, with a man I'd never thought I'd see again, holding children who'd brought us back together, I finally believed in second chances. 1 year later, Dad, you're doing it wrong. Ellie laughed, adjusting Nathaniel's grip on the piping bag. Rosettes go in circles, not squiggles. These are artistic interpretations, he defended, though his frosting roses looked more like abstract art. They're disasters, Liam corrected, meticulously piping his own perfect flowers. But it's okay. Mom says disasters can be delicious too. I watched from the doorway, heartful. The industrial kitchen of Nathaniel's new nonprofit, Futures First, dedicated to supporting single-parent families, buzzed with activity. Today's mission, 300 cupcakes for the community center's summer festival. How's the frosting crisis? Claire asked, joining me. Manageable, though I may need to redirect Nathaniel to sprinkle duty. Remember when you wouldn't even let him meet them? Remember when you told me I couldn't avoid him forever? I'm very wise, she grinned. Speaking of which, she held up her left hand, where a simple diamond caught the light. Claire, when? Last night, Marcus finally worked up the courage. She laughed. Only took him 3 years. And Julian? Ancient history, like your fears about Nathaniel. I hugged her fiercely. So much had changed in a year. Julian's arrest had led to revelations about corporate espionage spanning years. Nathaniel had stepped down as CEO with the board's blessing, restructuring his holdings to focus on sustainable development and community initiatives. Mom, we need more pink, Ellie called. Coming, baby. The day flew by in a whirlwind of frosting and laughter. Nathaniel, despite his questionable decorating skills, threw himself into every task with the same intensity he'd once reserved for mergers. You've got frosting in your hair, I told him, reaching up to wipe it away. He caught my hand, kissing my palm. Worth it to see you smile like that. Gross, Ellie declared, though she was grinning. Super gross, Liam agreed, sneaking another taste of frosting. That evening, we sat on the beach behind our new house. Not the penthouse or my cramped apartment, but a real home chosen together. The twins built sandcastles while Nathaniel and I watched the sunset. Board meeting went well, he said. Futures First is expanding to 3 more cities. That's amazing. You're amazing. This was your idea. You made it happen. We made it happen. He pulled me closer. Like everything else. Dad, look! Liam ran up, shells in hand. I found twins, like me and Ellie. Perfect pair. Nathaniel agreed, examining them seriously. Sometimes the best things come in twos. Like you and Mom? Ellie asked, joining us. Exactly like that. Later, after bedtime stories and tucked-in children, we stood on the deck with wine and comfortable silence. I have something for you, Nathaniel said, producing a wrapped package. Inside was a photo album, professionally bound. The first page showed the gala where everything started, a shot I'd taken of the empty museum before guests arrived. The second showed Ellie and Liam on stage, the moment before Nathaniel saw them. How did you— Your agency had the originals. I thought we should have the whole story. I flipped through pages. The park meeting, the press conference. Quiet moments I hadn't known he'd captured. Me reading to the twins, all of us at the beach, birthday parties and school plays and ordinary Tuesday dinners that had become extraordinary. The last page was from this morning. All four of us in the future's first kitchen, covered in flour and frosting, laughing at something off camera. Our story isn't finished, he said softly. But I wanted to capture how it began, how we became us. From echoes to reality, I murmured. What? Something I used to think, that we were just echoes of something lost. But we're not, are we? We're something new. Something better, he agreed. A small voice interrupted. Mom, Daddy. Liam stood in the doorway, tears on his cheeks. Bad dream, buddy? Nathaniel scooped him up. I dreamed you went away again, Liam whispered into his shoulder. Never happening. Nathaniel carried him to the couch, settling with practiced ease. Want to know a secret? Liam nodded. Sometimes I have that dream too. But then I wake up and you're here and Ellie's here and Mom's here. And I remember that this is real. We're a family. Forever. Promise. Promise? Cross my heart. That's our name, Liam giggled. Cross. Exactly. And crosses keep their promises. I joined them. Liam snuggled between us. Soon Ellie appeared, claiming she wasn't sleepy but curling up anyway. We stayed like that, watching stars through the windows, sharing whispered stories and quiet laughter. This was what I'd been so afraid of. Not just letting Nathaniel into their lives, but letting him into the quiet moments, the hard moments, the real moments that made a family. But here, surrounded by the people I loved most, I couldn't remember why I'd fought so hard against it. I love you, I whispered, not sure if I was talking to him or all of them. Love you too, Mom, Ellie mumbled, half asleep. Love you more, Liam added, competitive, even drowsy. Nathaniel met my eyes over their heads. I love you most, he mouthed. Later, after we'd carried sleeping children back to bed, we stood in our bedroom. Ours, not mine or his, but ours. Do you ever regret it? I asked. Giving up the company, the power, everything you worked for? I didn't give up anything, he said, pulling me close. I traded it for something priceless. Board meetings for bedtime stories, mergers for family dinners, power for purpose. And me? I couldn't help asking. Do I live up to the memory? You exceed it. Every day. He kissed me softly. The woman I fell for 8 years ago was incredible. The woman you've become, the mother you are, the partner you choose to be, you're extraordinary. We're extraordinary, I corrected. All of us. Outside, waves crashed against the shore. Eternal rhythm of endings and beginnings. Inside, our children slept peacefully, secure in love that had found its way home, despite time and distance and impossibility. I thought about the woman I'd been at that gala, terrified of discovery, certain that protection meant isolation. She couldn't have imagined this. Whole heart, whole family, whole life built on trust instead of fear. What are you thinking? Nathaniel asked. That Ellie was right. Sometimes being brave means doing things even when you're scared. And sometimes, he added, it means letting yourself be happy even when you think you don't deserve it. Do we deserve it? Does it matter? It's ours. He was right. Whatever we'd earned or lost, whatever roads we'd taken or missed, we'd found our way here. To this house by the sea. To these children who'd inherited his eyes and my stubbornness. To this love that was no longer an echo of the past, but a promise of the future. I used to think we were just the reverberation of something lost, doomed to fade with distance. But we weren't echoes at all. We were the opening notes of something eternal. A melody that had taken 8 years to find its harmony, but would play forever in the hearts of our children and the life we'd chosen to build. Together, always, family.